The Spanish Grand Prix is on this weekend, guys. So let's have a look at the most successful drivers in the history of the event, whether it's the Circuit de Catalunya, whether it's Jarama, Jerez, or anywhere else in between. This is always a race that very much entertains, and it's going to be the last Spanish Grand Prix held at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya as we move to the Mad Ring for next year. Yay! Can't wait for that. Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya is on the calendar next year for 2026 in Formula 1, although it will not be hosting the Spanish Grand Prix. So we'll see what it's called, whether it's the Catalan Grand Prix, the Barcelona Grand Prix, or something else. We'll see. Hey, bring the European Grand Prix back. Why not? I'd like to see that. But these are all the drivers who have won the most around the Spanish Grand Prix over the decades. This is an event that's been mainly on, but also off at time the calendars since the very first days of Formula 1. The first Formula 1 Spanish Grand Prix held in 1951 and won, of course, by Juan Manuel Fangio, who was not Spanish, he was Argentine, but of course he won a lot of races back in the 50s. Since then, of course, like I said, it's gone to many venues over the years, but it's found a permanent home at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya ever since 1991. And it's going to be sad to see it not be the host of the Spanish Grand Prix next year, but good to see it back on the calendar, although I think it will probably drop off eventually, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, these are all the drivers that have won around here at least 3 times in their careers. So let's dive in. Let's start off with one of my favourite drivers of all time, Mika Häkkinen. Häkkinen won here 3 times on the bounce between 1998 and the year 2000, winning the title in 98 and 99. He could have so easily won here in 2001 as well. He was leading by a mile, but his McLaren ended up retiring in the latter stages. Absolutely heartbreaking for Mika during that Grand Prix and what ended up being his final season in Formula 1. He did later win, though, at the United States Grand Prix in Indianapolis just before his career ended. But yeah, Mika was very good around here. Alain Prost, meanwhile, was also pretty good around the Spanish Grand Prix as well, winning in 1988 for McLaren at Jerez, also at Jerez in 1990, this time for Ferrari though, and he managed to win at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya in 1993, this time for Williams. So 3 different wins for 3 different constructors for Alain Prost. Nigel Mansell, though, all of his 3 victories around the Spanish Grand Prix were for Williams, but again at different venues. He almost got his first victory at the Spanish Grand Prix in 1986, but he missed out on the line racing against Ayrton Senna's Lotus. This was at Jerez, and at the time I do believe this was the smallest margin of victory in Formula 1, though of course the Ferraris did break that at Indianapolis in 2002. Mansell, though, managed to get his first victory in Spain the following year in 1987, also at Jerez, and he managed to win in back-to-back years for Williams in 1991 and 1992. 1991 as well was the iconic image of him and Ayrton Senna driving down the pit straight, sparks flying, damp and slippery conditions. Very tricky to master it, but master it they did at that time. And Mansell, like I said, a 3-time winner around this circuit. Now the last 3-time winner of the Spanish Grand Prix is a 3-time Formula 1 world champion. It's none other than Sir Jackie Stewart, who, like Mika Häkkinen, about 30 years later, won in back-to-back years between 1969, nice, and 1971, winning for Matra, March and Tyrrell around Montjuic twice in 69 and 71, and also once at Jarama. And I believe that his victory at Jarama is where one of the most iconic images of Formula 1 was taken as well, with the car on fire in the background. I believe it was Jackie Ickx on fire in the background, although I could be wrong with that, and I could be wrong about that being the right race. But let's get to the 4-time winners next, and appropriately, it's a 4-time world champion. It's not Alain Prost, we've already talked about him. Of course, it's Max Verstappen. Verstappen managed to win his first Formula 1 Grand Prix in 2016 at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, after, of course, the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, totally not controversially, took each other out on the first lap. I'm not going to debate who was at fault, that's a video for another day. But Verstappen eventually, it took a while for him to get a second victory round here, actually. 2022 getting his second win here, then backing it up in 23, and then again in 24. He came close to victory here in 2021 as well, battling out for the championship with Sir Lewis Hamilton at that time, but the pit stop strategy ended up benefiting Hamilton in what was a fantastic race around this circuit, I must say. Verstappen as well, I'd argue he didn't have the fastest car here last year either, but he just beat Lando Norris off the line from pole position for the McLaren driver. and yeah, just basically converted it from there. This is a great track for him because, you know, he's won here 4 times in total, 3 times on the bounce. But who are those 2 guys? Well, they top this list as being the only 6-time winners of this Grand Prix over the years, and the first one, the more recent one to achieve that feat, is Sir Lewis Hamilton. If Hamilton manages to win this weekend for Ferrari, he will of course go to the top of this list, but for now he is equal with the next guy we're going to talk about. You've probably already guessed who it is, but we'll speak about him very shortly. Hamilton never won here for McLaren. He did get the fastest qualifying time and qualify originally in pole position for the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix, but of course he was disqualified from that for not being able to provide a fuel sample. I will go in depth as well for you guys this week, going over the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix and all the controversies and conspiracy theories around that race, because it's a very interesting one. He had a puncture here, I think, in 2010 as well. For a long time, it was a cursed circuit for him, being, of course, the home track of Fernando Alonso. He was very much the persona non grata going around here. He was enemy number 1, pretty much. Not so much these days, I don't think, but yeah, back in those days, the Spanish fans, let's just say, were not too keen on Hamilton, to put it very mildly. But around here, for Mercedes, the guy's been incredible. He managed to win here in 2014 and then 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. 5 wins on the bounce. 5 victories on the bounce between 2017 and 2021. Unbelievable. Like I said, great battle between him and Max Verstappen for 2021. Aside from that, though, he was really dominant in a lot of these. 2016, he could have won had the crash not happened between him and Rosberg. Again, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just stating a fact. You know, Mercedes have typically been very fast around here over the years because of all the testing, but he's at Ferrari this time, so we'll see how he gets on there. Ferrari not winning for quite some time, I don't believe. It's been a long time since Ferrari managed to actually win a Spanish Grand Prix. In fact, the last time, I'm just looking up now, the last time Ferrari won a Spanish Grand Prix was Fernando Alonso back in 2013, so it's been a while. Same with Fernando Alonso, to be fair, that's his last win in Formula 1 as well, so there you go. But who has the most wins of all time around the Spanish Grand Prix? You already know who it is. It's gone. It can only be one person. Michael Schumacher. Incredible. 6 victories for him over the years here. 1 for Benetton in 1995 and the rest for Ferrari in 1996. One of the greatest wet weather drives of all time. 2001, 02, 3 and 4. Dominant in all those years in Formula 1. Dominant at the Spanish Grand Prix in all those years as well, with 4 victories on the bounce to his name. Hamilton, of course, has the most consecutive victories with 5 in a row, obviously there. But, you know, Schumacher was really good around Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. He probably would have won in 1994 had he not had his gearbox problem where he was stuck in 6th gear for the majority of the race. But despite that, he managed to actually still get 2nd place. Such was his overall speed. But yeah, Schumacher very good around here. But Hamilton and Verstappen will be looking to topple him. Hamilton could do it this weekend. Verstappen will need a few more years at the very least to be able to do it. But who are you picking for the win this weekend? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Have a great time wherever you're on the world today, guys, and we'll see you very soon for much more Formula 1 content just like this.